Antigua a couple of days now. What specifically have you been focusing on, working on ahead of the semi-final tomorrow?
Yeah, we obviously looked at the team we're going to face. We played India in a warm-up game earlier in the trip, and we've seen the tactics they're using. Actually, they've been very effective taking pace off the ball. So we've obviously looked at that and how we're going to go about playing it, how we're going to have our method to score runs, and obviously they've got some really dangerous players. So in terms of how we bowl at them and little things like that, so it's quite nice to be able to focus on that semi-final and really have specific practice in terms of how we're going to play against them.
Mark, how disappointed were you with the way that the team played against West Indies, and what did you say to them after that performance?
Oh, I wasn't disappointed. No, you can't live in a black and white world like that where you win, you're proud, you lose, you're disappointed. Sure. Look, it was a game in the end we should have won. We knew that, and I think if we'd have took a couple of catches, we would have won it. But we showed a hell of a lot of resilience to get a score which was more than competitive in the end. And then bowled really, really well for the majority of it. And I think if we'd had a tad more luck as well, we would have won. But you know, sometimes things don't go your way. And if it wasn't for a couple of drop catches, we'd have won the match. So I was proud of the resilience they showed. I was proud of how they stuck at the task when not everything was going their way.
Have the team been working on fielding specifically? Especially Heather mentioned the difficulties of fielding under lights with dark skies. Has that been something you're working on? Because obviously those are the conditions you'll be facing tomorrow.
We'll be under lights tomorrow. Look, it's windy outside now. I mean, the two catches, Fran would gobble the pairs 9 times out of 10. That was a difficult catch for Dunks, for anybody, any cricketer, any level, because that went up a long way in a swirling wind, black sky. Look, things happen, mistakes happen in sport, especially in an atmosphere like that. You know, it was a brilliant learning experience for everybody. I don't think I've ever been in the ground as loud as that. And I knew the West Indies are a very physical team, got some outstanding athletes, and they put you under pressure, and that's what you want as a team. You want to be put under pressure to learn and to get better.
This is a little bit of a grudge match following on from last year's World Cup final. Heather, as a team, do you take confidence from your performance in last year's final going into tomorrow?
Yeah, I think we take confidence from the fact that we performed in knockout matches before, but I don't think it counts for anything, obviously, with the game tomorrow. It's different format, different team for India, different captain for them and things like that. So it's all going to be about tomorrow. We know T20 cricket, it's whoever turns up on the day. Any sort of player, if they put in a really strong performance, can win a game for their side. So yeah, I don't think it'll count too much for tomorrow. It's about us going out and putting a really strong performance, showing the really good things we've done. Like Mark said, the fight we showed in the last game is going to stand us in really good stead, and we know we can get over the line when we do come across those sort of tight games. We've had a lot of experience of that in the last sort of 12 months or so, 18 months. So yeah, it's all about tomorrow and how we perform.
Some different conditions out here compared to what we've seen in St Lucia. To what extent might that influence your selections in terms of the bowling and Jenny Gunn and Tash potentially playing?
I don't know, we'll have to see tomorrow. Get an indication, we're practising tonight, how much it swings and those type of things. St Lucia was difficult for all the batters. It was a difficult batting surface. Look, I think all the batters in all the teams would like to have played a little bit better, but I think we'd have to say it was too pace, and at times it gripped, and it was hard work for all the batters. And you know, we've been looking at some footage of Guyana with the outfield a bit quicker and everything else. I think it might have been a different case for all the teams if they're playing that, but that's sport. So all the teams are going to adapt to what we think is going to happen in Antigua. So we played here against the West Indies in a warm-up game, so we've got some type of idea how that wicket will play, and we'll pick a team accordingly to hopefully win the match.
Kirsty Gordon had to leave the field in the previous match. Is she completely fit to play?
I wouldn't know more today, so she'll practice fully. We gave her an extra day off yesterday. We had quite a troublesome travel day. When did we travel? Whatever that day was. Stuck in an airport, and then we couldn't fly, and this, that, and the other. So we just gave her an extra day to recover yesterday as a precaution, and hopefully she'll take a full part of practice tomorrow and put her hat in the ring to be fully fit and play a major part.
Have you guys had a look at the pitch here today?
We just had a quick look now. So obviously we haven't seen the wicket before today. So yeah, we'll obviously have an idea with the game before us how it's going to play, whether it's going to turn, whether it's going to swing, that sort of thing. So yeah, we've had a little look, and yeah, we'll have to see how it plays tomorrow.
And you said you take confidence from your record in knockout games. Would you say the England team does better in crunch games towards the back ends of tournaments?
I think we've had some really good experience from those sort of crunch games. Obviously, that game against South Africa, we knew it pretty much was a must-win game straight away, only our second game in the tournament, and it was straight into crunch time. And obviously, that World Cup last year will stand us in great stead in terms of how we sort of won quite scrappy games that we probably shouldn't have won. We know we've got the characters and the fight in the dressing room to be able to do that. And yeah, it's all about tomorrow. We know we can do that. We've just got to put ourselves in a position to be able to fight and hopefully get over the line.
For a knockout game, does the team train differently?
I think that's the danger. I think as a coach, you always want to keep things as normal as you can. You know, we spoke before the West Indies match because we knew we were going to get a unique experience, which is very hard to prepare for. So all you can do is try and keep things as normal and try and encourage your players to just stick to their processes, which is a really boring cliche word, but it's really true. Everybody knows the magnitude of the game, so it's just trying to keep things as simple as normal, because a team that will deliver, you know, the simple things the best will probably win the match.
Some teams have been talking about how they train with a lot of noise and music to sort of simulate crowd conditions, not maybe in this tournament per se, but in general. Is that something England has ever looked at?
We might need to tell Dr. Guy back at Loughborough that he keeps telling us off to having the noise on too loud. So, look, it's something you've got to do. But as I say, nothing will prepare a player for that noise that you had the other day. Some people revel in it, and some people sometimes shrink. And I was really chuffed with my team that they didn't shrink. They didn't shy away from the ball. You know, Danny Wyatt, when we focus sometimes on a couple of drop catches, Danny Wyatt pulled off two absolute outstanding catches, you know, one in front of a packed stand. So it's just cricket. Sometimes mistakes are made, sometimes people, you know, manage to pull things off. So tomorrow will be no different. It'll be about which team delivers, you know, the best skills at the best time.
And what is the balance between mental preparation and technical preparation before a crunch match like this?
Oh, well, every game you prepare for England, you prepare to play, you prepare mentally, you're doing your visualisation, how you're going to go about things, and obviously skill-wise in the nets as well. I think it's about keeping it as much like any game you would play for England. I think if you start doing different things before a big game, that's when you might get yourself in trouble. But the girls have learnt from the other day, I think. I think the experience the other day in front of 10,000 people, the hostility of that crowd is going to be a great learning experience for some of the younger girls in the team, and even for some of the older ones. That's the second biggest crowd I've ever played in front of, and whether that comes into the semi-final or down the line, that's going to be a really useful experience for us. So it's about taking what you can from that as a player, how it affected you, how it helped you, whatever it might be, and trying to take it into future games.
You're playing, you've seen predominantly spin-heavy attack in this tournament. Playing against a team tomorrow that plays spin well, how much changes in the bowler's preparation, whether their lengths, their lines, because the Indians play spin very differently from, say, the West Indies? Yeah,
look, the challenge for any bowling attack, any bowler, is to adapt to what's happening in front of you. Because we lost a warm-up game, because we came out of a tent in England, a lot of our support bowlers haven't got any overs, any match-up overs. I think Jenny Gunn's bowled 3 overs in match overs, and Tash Farrant's bowled 3 as well. So our options are potentially a little bit limited by that in terms of match readiness. We played Danny Hazel to get her into the competition to give us a good option for tomorrow as well. So look, we always talk about the correct lengths to bowl, and we'll also talk about the right lines and the right fields to get, you know, for particular batsmen at given times. But on the pitch, it's up to it's up to the bowlers to adapt to what's happening in front of them, and sometimes you can't be too formulated.
You mentioned Danny Wyatt's fielding as being exceptional. She scored obviously a brilliant 100 against India earlier in the year. How important is it for her as a batsman at the top of the order to perform tomorrow?
Well, you want all the batters to perform. Danny's got, I want to say 100 against India, 100 against Australia, and Tammy got a great 100 during the summer. But Danny Wyatt's got good memories of playing against India, and she'll carry that confidence into tomorrow, hopefully. But as I say, you want one of your top 4 particularly to go on and score a match-winning contribution.
Do you know your 11 yet?
No, we've only just looked at the pitch, and like Mark said, we've obviously brought Danny in for the last game to see how she goes and to give her a bit of match time. But no, we'll make a final decision after training today.
You probably got asked this in St. Lucia, but there's been a lot of downtime in this tournament. How has the team been spending their time? Like even yesterday or the day between practice and the game, when you go back from training?
We had a lot of practice of downtime when it was raining in St. Lucia. So yeah, I think we're well practiced at that. But I think it's the right balance as a player. You want to find the balance between sort of preparation and being ready, but also trying to switch off a little bit, trying to get away from the pressures. But yeah, to be honest, we haven't done too much outside of cricket training. We had a bit of a social get-together last night, bad shirt night, which was a lot of fun. Me and Mark were in the top 4, weren't we? So
joint second, I think, Heather.
We were quite pleased with our performance and choice of shirts. But yeah, obviously the main thing is being ready for that big game tomorrow.
What did the both of you wear?
Not the same shirt.
Cool.
Thank you.
Bad shirts.